Hi, welcome. Have you ever wondered or have you ever asked yourself how expensive or cheap is it for you to have a home where you can live with your family? Have you ever thought of maybe going through maybe borrowing a loan, a mortgage loan for you to acquire a land or to buy a property where you can live with your family? Now, I'm going to take you through a research which was done by Ellen Carter, and the documentation that was written. My name is Sami Mungasi. Welcome, and let me take you through the article. Now, this article was written by Ellen Carter. It analyzes basically the nature of the housing boom in Australian region, that is the lower middle class and the middle class region. Basically, it considers the New Wales region, New South Wales region. Um, we are going to analyze how the documentations of the Ellen and the interviews we did to some of the residents and what were the responses of how easy is it for them to acquire a house where they can settle with their families and live together. Now, on this article, Ellen documents that the home value in Australia rose by 17.7%, that's by 2021. As for the New South Wales region and Tasmania home prices, they grew from 21.1% to 20.8% respectively. Now, Ellen Carter got to interview a couple, and which was planning to have their home. They had a deposit of they had in mind maybe to deposit $100,000 for them to acquire a home, and it's written that the couple came from a local area around Bamagui in New South Wales, and after they had started saving, they came to realize when their budget range was around $300,000 to 400,000, but upon starting on the savings, they came to realize that the prices went a bit higher, and they thought like, wow, we're gonna not have enough money for us to buy our own home where we can live with our family. So basically, we are going through the to see the percentage, like how people the demand for the housing has grown and how it has affected the individuals in the regions, basically the New South Wales and region. Okay. Maria Yanoki, who is an economist, knows that the government stimulus help keep the housing market tickling. Thus, during the pandemic, that is the COVID-19, whereby the government tried to keep because basically people were trying to move out of the town to go to the rural areas, which seemed to be expensive and life was a bit hard. There was high inflation, so the government of Australia gave stimulus which helped the housing market ticking. After lockdown, the demand shifted and hiked. So after the lockdown, everybody wanted a home where they can stay because people now had moved from the city, they went to the locals, and maybe the nature of the business changed. Some people ventured into online business, other companies and corporations went from physical workplace to digital where a person can work from home. So everybody was in need of a home where they can stay and work from home and do their own business. So basically everybody wanted to own a home where they can stay and do their daily business. Now, what are the impacts of the housing boom in the financial system? As you know, housing is a requisite in the economy of a country because most, basically all the governments all countries, one of the major pillar that every government wants to ensure that it's on track is the housing, because housing is one of the important aspect of people. So housing is a requisite in the economy of a country, uh, and its vulnerability can lead to a crisis. So when there is no enough houses to house people, it can lead to a very big crisis. So the government has to be keen on how it can handle the housing. So the demand momentum from the article was a clear cause of the bubble. So the inevitability threatened financial and macroeconomic stability. Now we are saying that the housing boom bubbles as people were trying now to move from, because the demand increased, because now people wanted the house. It was, it threatened the financial because most people needed now more cash because the demand went high, the houses came more expensive, so people wanted more money for them to be able to buy a home for their own. So it really changed maybe the interest rate, the exchange rates, and the economy, and basically the economical stability. Um, so why do people really need houses? One, people can venture into real estate because housing is one of the major, is one of the rental income that is one of the source of income. So people ventured into building homes where they can rent or sell so that they can afford money. So this resulted into people maybe going to the companies, to the banks to acquire mortgage loans, that is going to other financial institutions. This led to the credit factor of the financial institution was because there was more demand for people to acquire loans. So it made this financial institution to go even overseas to acquire more loans so that they can be able to give the people here who needed it. So this really affected the household, the consumption of the financial credit went high, and this changed the economies of our country. So what happens when the people borrow more money, mortgage loans for the housing, and maybe the repayment? How is it the repayment going to be? Yeah, and and how are the banks going to to do their financial business, maybe in the international market, financial market, and because now the domestic credit supply increased, because now the banks had to go outside to go to look for more loans so that they can give the people who needed more loans to buy the properties. Now the interest rates had to can be reversed in this case of a scenario to an increase in the bankers borrowing, and control-wise the financial instruction cannot search credit guarant. Thus the bank can lower credit to non-housing firms, increasing other economic sectors. Now how do we reflect this to the financial markets course? Now this article or the financial markets content helps want to broaden the macroeconomic concept with the financial system, and also analyze the importance of these surveys such as the housing boom to understand the economic hurdle that the housing boom can bring into the economy, the crisis, and how the one maybe to get to know, to learn more about the financial institution. How do they do business? How can we acquire the loan? How are the interest rates change, or the exchange rate change when the demand and supply of a commodity also changes? So it's a clear way of getting to understand more about the financial system and the trade and the financial markets at large, and more of the interest rates, the exchange of interest rates, and the demand and supply. It also helps to identify the role of different institutions. Yeah, basically that's how you get to learn more about the demand and supply of a commodity, and how that can affect the economy of a country. Thank you so much. That's my presentation. Those are a few of the references.